Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You should be able to hear me now, loud and clear. If you should be able to hear me loud and clear now. If you don't hear me, I don't know. We gotta we gonna get this for 4 minutes in. We in here. You should be able to hear me clearly now. If you don't hear me now, I don't know what's gonna say. You here. Everything looking good now. You should be able to hear me now, loud and clear. You know what I'm saying? Because LDA is here. Gotta get this. Yes. You good now? I'm good. Can you hear me now? Let's let this beat, y'all. I know 4 minutes in. I'm here. It is Monday. Lawrence D. Adams is here. You should be able to hear me loud and clear right now. We're gonna talk about the spiritual side of the game. Let's get it going. Spiritual side of the game. You should be able to hear me loud and clear. Let's go. Come on. Many people talk about the relationship side of the game. Many people talk about improving yourself. But how many people talk about the spiritual side of the game? Get the likes and the shares up. Let's get it going. Oh yeah, guess what? The upgrade has taken place. We got a fresh camera. Internet service is on point. So we ready to go. Let's drop the camera. One. Hey. What's going on? What's going on? Should be connected now. All right, let's get it going. Looking crisp? It should be fresh now. New internet service, upgraded just today. So let's get it. The spiritual side of the game. So let's talk about it. We know that we define game first. What? We define game first as strategy. The other thing we define game is what? Solving problems. What? Game solves what? Problems. So we're talking about strategies and that game solves problems. So if games star strategies and those things, they solve problems, right? So let's talk about the spiritual side of the game. The spiritual side of the game. Let me get my transition right because it's going really fast. One second. Transition is like super fast and I want it slow. There we go. So I want you to get what I'm getting here. First, game solves is strategies, and then what? Game solves problems. So the spiritual side, let's first get this real clear. In order for you to work the spiritual side of the game, you first have to understand that what? That you have a what? A spirit. Now, I want to clear something up before we go any further. I will not be talking about religion. This is not a talk on religion. Let me drop the music. This is not a talk on religion. I will not be talking about any particular religion. I will not be talking about any particular religion. I want everybody to get that. I'm talking about the spiritual side of the game. So in order for me to talk about the spiritual side of the game, I have to make sure that you understand that you have three parts: your spirit, soul, and body. Soul encompasses what? Your mental faculties and your emotional faculties and your reasoning. So I want you to get what I'm saying right there. So the spiritual side of the game, I want to make sure you understand, we are not talking about a religion. Yes, I grew up in church. Yes, I have training in theology. Yes, I have some training in Islam. Yes, I got some training in some Eastern religions. I have all those trainings, but it doesn't mean I want you to get here. I want you to get this is not a reference to any religion. I want you to get it. I want you to get this. It is not about, we're not talking about a religion. Religion is man's way of trying to connect to God and not God's way of connecting to him. Let me get this to slow down. I want you to get that. There's a big difference. It is not man's way. So I want you to understand what I'm saying. So I want you to understand. I want to understand what I'm saying right now. So don't get mixed up in what I'm getting. So I want you to understand you have a body, you have a mind, soul, and then your spirit. So the spiritual side of the game is understanding first that you have a what? A spirit. That you have what? A spirit. And if you don't understand that you have a spirit, what's going to happen is you're going to miss out on this side of the game. So a lot of people can talk about the relationship side of the game, which is good. Other people is going to talk about improving yourself, which is good. But what does it mean if you get all this together, relationship side, you improve yourself, but your spirit ain't right? But your spirit ain't right. Get what I'm saying? Your spirit is not right. So we laying foundation because this is going to be a series for this whole week. But what happens if your spirit ain't right? So your vibe inside of you just ain't on point. And other people can pick up on it because your spirit ain't right. So I want to understand that first. You understand that you're first a spirit that it has a thinking capacities and emotions, and then you have a physical body. So I want you to understand the spiritual side of the game. We're not talking about religion. That's on you. But what I am taking responsible for is understand that you have a spirit, and then second of all, that there is some I'm going to use in my reference, and this is my show, and I'm going to say what I want to say. And I'm going to use the reference that there is a God. Why am I saying that? Because you have to realize there's someone bigger than you. This is all going to tie into the spiritual side of the game. You got to understand that. Because when you realize that the other person that you're working on yourself and who you're connecting with another spirit in that woman or in that man. So this is going to be the spiritual side of the game. Understand what I'm saying? But I got to get you to first understand that you are a spirit. You got to understand that you are a spirit. You have a spirit and that you are connected to God. I'm not talking about religion right now. I'm just giving pure example or pure teaching of how it is. Once you realize that you are a spirit and that you're connecting to a God that's bigger than you, guess what happens? It changes your game because the source of your information is not limited to what? What you see with your two eyes or what you hear with your two ears. So I want you to get that. So the source of your information is not limited to your what? Two eyes, two ears, and what you speak or what you see. I'm laying a foundation. I have to lay this foundation first so people don't go, you talking about Allah, you talking about God, you talking about Jesus Christ, you talking about this. I understand all those things, but I got to get you to understand that you are a spirit. And many times, everything can be right, but the person's spirit may not be right, or your spirit may not be right, or a collective of people or spirits ain't right. Because you're not connected to what the source. So this is the bigger side of the game that a lot of people are not going to talk about. This is the part of the game that a lot of people ain't going to talk about. So could it be, once you understand the spiritual side of the game, guess what's going to happen? You have greater insight in improving who you are, and you have greater insight in dealing and functioning with whoever you connect with. So let me say this. Many times a man get into a relationship with a woman or vice versa, and guess what happens? You might have touched her physically, but you have not touched her. You might have touched her even emotionally, but you have not touched her on her spirit. I want y'all to get this. I want you to get this. I want you to get this. I want you to understand the spiritual side of the game. You got to realize that this got to be in order, but this has to be in order. Why? Why does it have to be in order? Your connection to your spirit, to the source, God, universe, whatever you're going to call it, has to be in check. It takes your game to another level. What happens is the spiritual side of the game gives you insight that you would normally not get. It gives you information. It can lead you to where places that you would never thought. But the thing of it is, you're limited. People get limited to what they see on the physical plane or what they feel in their emotions instead of what they know in their spirit. If this is resonating with you, let me know. We're just laying a foundation because we're just laying a foundation. I had not even gone into the depths of what I want to talk about. And as you can see, the internet is working fine. If this is resonating with you, understanding like, oh, okay, this makes sense. I am not teaching you a religion. It's not religion I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you the mechanics of who you are, so you can understand the spiritual side of the game. Then you can dive deep into it and move accordingly. So I want you to understand this. Why does LDA want you to understand this? If you understand this, you elevate your game to another place. Because like I said, I'm repeating myself for a purpose. Many times people only teach the relationship side of the game. They only teach about improving yourself. But they never talk about what your spirit is jacked up. And some people's spirit is jacked up. And you need to recognize if your spirit is jacked up or if the person you dealing with spirit is jacked up. I did not say if they were in a particular religion. I say if their spirit was jacked up. So this takes the game on a. We can talk surface game, good, but what happens when you interact with that woman or that man? There go Jono. What's going on, bro?
How's it going?
Good. So yeah, can you hear me loud and clear? It's smooth, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Make a difference. Big difference. I'm not sure what happened to my money in the background, but it'll be back. But yeah, so we're talking about the spiritual side of the game. And I'm going to lay this down. Make sure you heard what I said already, right?
Not just joined it.
Okay, so pretty much I said that we have to understand that first we have a body. Then we have the soul, the emotions, thinking capacity, and then we have a spirit. And then with that spirit, we got to realize that we're not talking from a religious standpoint. We're talking from a spiritual standpoint, that there is something bigger, that source that you need to connect with. So it don't make sense to just talk about how to relate to somebody or improving yourself if your spirit ain't right.
It's true.
So that's pretty much where we were rolling the ball around to. So we just laying a foundation. This is not a religious teaching.
Mm-mm. I think what we have to kind of come to grips with is that there's an inner consciousness, and that inner consciousness is a spirit. And if you kind of look at it from a standpoint of your well-being and your total person, there's a physical aspect, and we talked about this before. Your inner conscious is your inner spirit, and when you consider those things properly and make sure there's a proper mesh between the communication between the two, you're going to have a better overall experience as a human.
Right. I'm telling you, I'm so adamant about making sure we lay the right foundation. I did not say any religion. It's not religion. I could go because I've been trained in that. Jono has been trained in it.
And it's not like we won't ever mention it,
Right.
but it's more so the fact that we're trying to get you in touch with you. Okay. If you really look at literally the sacred vessels of law in most religions, they point you back to yourself. And people have to realize that a lot of religions point you right back to your inner you.
That's what we want to get. But this is the thing we want you to get. So the little caveat try to get you to the next level is this. If you understand this, this would take your game, strategy, problem solving to the next level where it's almost like you're speaking from another plane.
It's true. We're on we all know when we go to sleep, we have different levels of rest. And when you go to sleep, you are actually intermingling your current state with those other states from within that we are just not aware of. A lot of people, they call it dreaming. Sometimes people call it visioning. A lot of people call it premonitioning. It's a lot of research to be done, and there's some documentation on it, but it's also a lot of speculation on it. And there are things that we need to do to get in touch with utilizing that time frame. Though we have to rest. There's no way to survive without rest, and that sleep state can be utilized with some type of efficiency as long as you go into those states with the right mindset. You have to think about that. When you go into those states in the right mindset, you wake up with answers. You wake up with problem solved on questions that you probably went into the sleep state with, and it's because you properly prepared yourself for those states. And when you don't, or like when what some people do, they'll eat the wrong thing or they'll have the wrong type of drink before they go to bed. And what happens is you end up in a sleep state that's in chaos. And a lot of times people can't define that state, but they were just in a state of turmoil and toxicity during the sleep state. It's really because we haven't prepared properly for that state. And it's a transition that you go through every day. Your body makes you go through it, or else you won't be able to survive. You have to rest. But is your rest state a cradle for your success?
Mm-hmm. That you went heavy, man. You went. That was heavy. So yeah, you go ahead.
Well, we have that's where our spirituality comes from, though.
Yeah.
Our subconscious and our spirituality comes from when we are in the dark, when your eyes are closed.
Right.
When you have a chance. Some people call it praying, some people call it meditation, some people call it reciting affirmations, but all this is basically programming the inner you. Why do you think you have to do that? It doesn't make physical sense to do repetition and reciting. It's because you're trying to program the mind. You're trying to program the inner spirit.
That's what we want to get you to tap into is your inner spirit. Even before this show, the internet people came, connected. We had to go outside to the ladders and connect the service and everything like that. I came back in the house and just went to sleep. I was dog tired. I needed that rest. Now I rested last night, but I needed that rest. Got back up, showered, good to go. And so you got to know the importance of that. But I want to make sure you understand what we're talking about. We're not talking about the relationship side of the game. We're not even talking about the relationship with you. We're talking about your relationship with, interchangeably, we're going to say with God, source. Because then it affects every other relationship that you have. That is the spiritual side of the game.
It's true.
That's the spiritual side of the game. And you got to realize once you connect, like they did, the only thing that was stopping my internet service from not being connected on Friday was this one thing. You needed to program the box, and he needed to go outside and connect it to the source of the service on the box on the outside.
It's true. We actually discussed this prior. Like we know every one of the units have a capability of being part of it, but they know that the service is evenly distributed. So you have to make sure that they give you a physical connection, or else people would be taking it for free. And what happens is that analogy actually sits very, very well with what we're talking about now. Even though some people may have had uh, a breezing by, or maybe a pass through, maybe some of these terminologies and connections, but did you really plug in? Did you really plug into our particular method of connecting with this level of spirituality? And the fact is, some people haven't. And now we have to pay, you have to get you to pay attention and focus your eyes and your mind on this particular type of teaching.
Yeah. We want you to really get this. We did just like you said, just like the internet service. We want you to get connected in. It will affect every part of your game. That's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game.
It was always there. We need you to plug in.
Morpheus, is right. Plug in. We need you to plug in. So everybody talking about the red pill, blue pill, yellow pill, green pill, jelly pill, green pill, and all this pill. No, we need you to really plug in. Once you plug in, you will actually begin to see life on a whole different level. It would elevate your game. I seen the question in the chat room. I'm gonna wait for a minute. I got you. I seen you. It's too easy. He's a constant giver, so he gives all the time. He gives all the time. So his question almost is like priority. He asked a good question, so I'm going to do that because he gives. In your opinion, what's the efficient way to separate faith from spiritual side of the game?
I would say this: if you can think about it from a standpoint of faith is what you believe in and what you believe something to be coming towards you. Your spirituality is the current state that it's in. So what you have to look at it is you have a belief system that you know things that can be based upon where you have built your belief system. And you can build it in the church. You can build it on your fundamentals. You could build it on your morals. You could build it on the practicalities that have built you from childhood till now through your parents. A lot of people take on the history of where their upbringing comes, and that's where we see a lot of religious aspects being instituted. But sometimes the spiritual side of it actually is even deeper. And what happens is the spiritual side of it is you, who you are right now. Okay. So your faith is built on what you believe in from what has come in your trials and errors. You know that if you ran a quarter mile at a certain amount of speed when you were younger, you have faith in the fact that you can achieve this at a greater or lesser level depending on your conditioning level. That's your faith. That's the faith you have in something. Okay. You know the result you've had when you dealt with somebody in the store. You know if they have the ability to achieve the proper mechanism to give you the right service you're looking for. That's faith. You have faith in that person to do that. Okay. You put that in there. It's the reliability on things. But when we talk about spirit, we're talking about the fact that it's who you are, the person that you have been built to be, the inner side and the connections you have with the subconscious to achieve things itself. It's the presence, the current presence of what you put faith in.
Correct. That's exactly it. Good way to explain it. Good way to explain it. Definitely. So you definitely need to connect. So what we're doing is we're asking you in the chat room, are you connected? And we're asking to you to, if you're not, to be reconnected. because it's so important, the spiritual side of the game. So you sometimes people have negative. I'm gonna make sure we eliminate it here in the thinking class. We're not talking about the negativity side of the game. We're talking about all positivity, but I want you to understand there is a spiritual aspect that you as an individual have to tap in, especially part of being a thinking class. When you do that, we're just laying the foundation because we can go scuba diving on this, but we only just laying the foundation that you have realized you have a body, you actually have a spirit that has an emotion, thinking that's encased in the body. And I want you to really get that. So you got to reconnect to source. Like my internet service was what? Reconnected. It was already there, Jono, but it just needed to go boop.
It was a disconnection.
Yeah.
You weren't plugged in.
One plugged in.
And sometimes there's some things that are dangling right in front of you they're not plugged into. And you need to make a physical connection so that you can get the benefit of it.
Yeah, wait a minute. Whoa. I'm going to repeat that again. There are some things in your life and the people around you that you are just not connecting to because you have not connected to source power, God, that you are missing that's right in front of you.
How about this? There's some things that you haven't connected to spiritually, and that's why the physical connection never happened.
Whoa. Hold up. There's some things, say that again.
There's some things in your life or some people that you had a good chance of having a physical connection with, but you never vibed with them on a spiritual level. So it never happened. What you were supposed to build was something more than just a physical connection. And some people try to mask physical connections with, dating and materialism and all kinds of show off type stuff. A lot of over texting and stuff like that. That's not a spiritual connection. You haven't made steps to make a spiritual connection with some people in your life. And that's why they don't have a physical presence in your life.
Wow. Too easy. See, look, Trey Shorty. First time I'm connected, building my foundation tips. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. First time in, I'm connected. Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Because we gotta get you connected. There's some
these examples don't come up for nothing. I'll tell you that right now. Sometimes it's like every time we decide to make a real shift when it comes to what we're talking about, there's always some type of physical example that literally gives you the tool to connect with that particular example. And I'm grateful for the universe for making it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What greater example could you have gotten than something you could talk about that happened today?
Today, dude, it happened today. I had to be home by 8 o'clock, 8 to 9. He didn't find my house. Couldn't find my house, but then it showed up. But he came in. It was not connected on the outside. But once he got it connected, guess what? I was able to. You see, my connection is beautiful.
Oh my God! I guess no pixelation, no drops, no pops. That's what we've been dreaming for.
Woo! The connection is good, and I got what 2.4 and 5G.
Exactly. Remember I told you you're gonna have both antennas?
Yep. 2.4 and 5G. Some of you guys, let's break even that down. Once you connect it, you'll be able to connect on multiple planes. Sometimes you got to go on different frequencies to connect with other people.
Once you know how to connect. See, the thing is, you did not know how to connect. And sometimes the internet, let's say the internet, but the people that want you to learn with them, they know you don't know how to connect. So they're going to dangle the tools in front of you and you'll never connect. And that's false teaching. If you think about it, that's a false method of learning. They want to keep you engaged, which is a different form of success, and the success level is only going to go to that person. Okay, but what we're trying to show you is how to connect properly, and then once you have the ability to connect properly, you can then download the information properly. And like you said, you can, once you know how to connect, you can connect on multiple frequencies because you could just try which way to do it. And here's an example. We were just talking about this on Friday. We know that the wireless equipment in the studio runs on the same frequency as some of the Wi-Fi equipment. And we wanted to make sure that there was going to be alternate methods. And purely by chance, the vendor gave him a router that allows him to do exactly that. We know that we want to do that because we don't have any interference. We want the cameras hardlined. We want the streaming equipment hardline, but there is no choice for some of the wireless equipment. But if we happen to have other wireless equipment, we don't want any of that interfering with it. We want to have the best possible connection. I don't care if the connection is 20 times better. It's still the opportunity for interference because radio frequency is just radio frequency. And that's what you got to think about in your life. The frequency that you connected with somebody, is it on the right channel? Because sometimes if you haven't had a good mesh between the spiritual and the physical, the frequency is going to be off.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, that's good.
There's some people you can walk around, you don't have to say a word. They know exactly what's wrong, or they know exactly if you're in a good mood. They know exactly what your conscience is like because they connected with you on a spiritual level. And if you have to go around making a bunch of explanations, you're not on the right frequency with that person. You shouldn't have to ask. You shouldn't have to make assumptions. You should have an understanding, especially with anybody you're spending length of time with. And sometimes it almost is like an irritation to have to go in and set the frequency. You see what I'm
saying? So yeah, some people, you're right. Some people, that's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, because you might be on one frequency while the other person is on another, and she might be looking good. Fine, hair done, nails done, hair done. She's fine. But when you realize she talk, or she don't even have to say nothing, you're like, ugh. The frequency is off between you and her. And you're wondering why, like, I want to get down with her, but this is the thing. This is the spiritual side of the game. We sort of tap in a little bit of it. What time is it? If you're not careful, she will bring your frequency down to where you were at.
I witnessed it last night. I was in my certain spot that I do my nightly task of playing music at, and I'm telling you, I watched it play with this one guy and one woman. She like literally walked up to the guy like with all this arrogance and confidence and all this stuff, and literally like touched this guy's beard, and he was like, "I didn't ask you to touch me." See, she made a physical connection without making some type of even introduction. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people think that because they have a certain amount of privilege because of their place of work or the environment they're in, that they could take certain advantage of certain things. And this person wasn't having it. And he was like, I didn't ask you to touch me. I didn't ask you to come near me. And matter of fact, if somebody is trying to wish you away with the very thing that you be looking for without earning it, that means you ever like, I don't know if this ever happened in the retail industry or something like that, but when you ever tip somebody to get them away from you, like almost like they're being buggy.
Yeah.
I watched this happen. Like literally, three people at the same table wish this person away with something that you normally would look for a certain gesture or a certain pose to get the result. And that should really sink in your mind. But you know what? Sometimes the arrogance is it's like a force field. You can't see outside of your own perimeter. These people, the arrogance has gotten in the way of their humbleness, and they can't learn how to appreciate what's in front of you and taking liberties that you don't deserve. I'm being very facetious because you know exactly where I have to.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I know exactly where you're at.
I'm being vague on purpose.
They were taking way too many liberties.
But see, that's the thing. People feel entitled. That's the word I was looking for. Entitled. They feel entitled because of their position. They feel entitled because of their pedestal they're standing on. If you understand that word, the pedestals, literal pedestals, 6-inch pedestals. And what happens is people feel like they have a certain level of, command over a situation, and you could be dead wrong.
Right, completely wrong. So that's why I want you to understand what we're saying today. What time is it? Yeah. I want you to understand what we're saying today. The importance of what? The spiritual side of the game. Just laying the foundation today, giving you some pointers here because we have a whole week of this. I want you to understand what we're saying. And if you knew it was coming next with the thinking class, some class is going to automatically won't be on YouTube. Some of the class will not be on YouTube, and we come back on Wednesday. And only those who know will be in the know. Let me say that again. I'm giving you a little hoo-dee-hoo, giving you a little clue now. It's coming. Class may start on Monday. Tuesday, we're behind the wall. Wednesday, we come back, and you missed a whole bunch from Tuesday.
You know how a lot of events are. There's General Assembly, and then there's breakout rooms. And sometimes there's a lot of information revealed in those breakout rooms. But your attention for the keynote speakers can't always be in the General Assembly. Yeah. And what you're going to witness is you better have access to those breakout rooms, or else you're going to miss some of the information.
We might get activated today. This not today, but it could be activated. Today's Monday, Thursday. Where the show at? See you over there. Because we got to understand what we're talking about here. You're not going to hear just anywhere. You're not going to hear someone talking about the importance of the spiritual side of the game. They'll skate over it, but they never talk about if your spirit is right, or if you're connected correctly. And we want you to be in such a place that your game is on another level it's a holistic game. So you're not just got the mental side, you're improving yourself, or you talking about you dealing with the relationship. No, we may want to make sure your connection to the source is in place. It will have you being on a different plane when you can read. Did I even say this? You can. Can I say read? That's read. I don't like that. Where you can read the other person's energy and know, that ain't for me, or that's for me. It's turning another word.
I mean, I like the word read because we use it so loosely in this age and time because of how many content creators use it to judge or give somebody a definition. But really, reading somebody is to define for you what that person is in your life. And if you can't do it properly, you're not going to get the result you're looking for. I like what Jonathan W. said. You definitely picked up what we're putting down.
You picked up what we're putting down. Then we can really dive into it. But I want you to understand, this is just fundamentals we're just covering today. So let's go back, make sure we got everybody. If you have any questions, it's a perfect time to ask questions. Anything you wanted to Understand what we're talking about? Everybody saying salute, 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 salute. No sound, no sound, no sound. Okay. Okay, let's just share. In order to work the spiritual side of the game, you must have a spirit. This isn't a reference to religion. Correct. Yes, sir. Been waiting for this, LDA. Good, good, good. I'm glad you've been waiting on this. Spirit is the intuition we all have. Correct. Without the spirit being in order, we are as good as done. Correct. Thinking class that preach, brother pastor. You're crazy. This is resonating heavy. Good, good. I want you to really get what we're saying today. We cross paths either to get healed or heal the other one. Great one. I like that.
I like that statement because you don't know what your purpose is sometimes. And sometimes your connection with somebody is more important than what is face value. So not everybody is supposed to take something from. Some people, you're supposed to be the helper. You're supposed to be the one to set them on the right path. You're supposed to use your experience to bring them into the new.
Right. Foundation is key. Thank you, big bros. You're definitely welcome. Like 6 cents. That's it. Come on. Now you're getting in solitude. We connect. Right. Uh-oh. Y'all getting it now. The thinking class is definitely thinking. What's going on, Misha? What's going on? Ted is in the building. Got into the network. Thank you. That's it. Like Rom said, F these pills. The spirit runs deeper than any imaginary pill.
I mean, haven't we all figured out that the pill system is placebos?
Oh, whoa. Say that again.
The pill system is a placebo. It's a placeholder. It's not a real thing. It's basically a name. It's a placeholder for all the thought processes that we want to squish into one package. And that's not actually true. Okay. There's so many more ideologies out there. And just because you could talk about, say, red pill or something like that, it makes you thinking a certain way and gives you like this it's unwarranted permission to behave like some kind of, I don't even want to give a place to the alpha situation, but making those claims that it's a certain platform gives you permission that you weren't supposed to have to talk about something in a way you weren't supposed to be talking about it. Take responsibility for who you are, so you don't have to make up a persona to behave the way you're behaving. Take responsibility and then just be who you want to be. And if you are in the market to attract somebody towards you, if you're honest with who you are and who you know to be a successful person to be, you won't have to worry about finding anybody. You won't have to shoehorn yourself into a pill type of situation to get the results you're looking for. It's trying to corral us. All that pill stuff is trying to corral us into a certain mindset that will program the woman and program the men, and all of a sudden you got a bunch of attitudes and toxicity. It's not right. Just be you. And don't sacrifice your personality for some other ideology.
Whoa. That's it right there. So the pills are placebos to filter out, as they're placebos to give you a false perception
of how to behave.
On how to behave.
Get out of here with that. Come on. Be you. Stand for something, or else you'll fall for anything.
Salute. What's going on, True Savage? Yeah. And so many people get caught up in it that they miss, and they're wondering why still the spirit is not right or agreeing with everything that they hear.
Because you sound like somebody else. You sound like somebody else's fake interpretation of what real life is. Life, you were put here for your experience, not somebody else's bottled into a package that looks like yours. No.
You brothers, you're talking about bringing the Aurora Air's third eye sound to mind. Yeah. Y'all talking about spiritual connection. I turned my AC on cool. As soon as you said get connected, a physical side, my AC turned off instantly. Wow. Yeah. Connection, connection, connection. I instantly felt it and tapped into that spiritual energy, brothers. This sugar honey iced tea, crazy. Everything around me just felt so calm, even the air. That's it.
You know why? Because you were cognizant of it. You decided to make yourself aware of a physical change, and it had to happen. You caused that. Just because we tell you to take responsibility is not always about blame. Sometimes you are the activator of your own environment, and that's what happened. You manifested your own environment.
Wait a minute. That's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, because it has to do with manifestation. He created that situation, like you said.
You created the circumstances and the result.
That quick. Without
We had to start here, and that's where we said, if you have the faith in you, we talking about the connection between faith and spirit. You had the faith to know it's possible, so it had to manifest itself, and that's the connection. That's what we talk about when it comes to attraction. You put it into existence in the mind first.
That's it. So his spirit was connected from hearing what we were talking about. His mind said, let me create a situation to let him know that he can create anything that he wants. Let me remind him.
And it was very specific. When you say anything, that's like throwing out a broad spectrum with a low frequency beam. But when you think of something specific, it's focused and laser focused, and it goes further distance and can be seen at a much farther distance. And that's what you got, a specific result.
That quick. If y'all didn't catch that, I don't know what you didn't catch it. You didn't catch it. So this is Lawrence D. Adams, John O. We're about to convene. Y'all better be careful because Patreon's on the way. Patreon is on the way. You thought we was talking something here. Patreon is on the way. It is. What I mean on the way is on the way. Is on the way? Is on the way. John O, Patreon is going to be on the way. And we're going to go further than we can talk way. Patreon is on the way. Oh, I don't want that. We need some hip hop. We need some pumping. But yeah, Patreon is on the way. But yeah, you now I want to make sure everybody get this. If this is resonated with you, if this connected with you, what we're talking about, the spiritual side of the game, let me know in the chat room. We need to know we're connecting what you're saying. If this has connected with you in any way, let us know in the chat room that we're right on the money, what you needed to hear, because we want to make sure that what we're talking about, because we already know prior to this, because of all the live examples, that it really does what it needs to do for you. Let me know in the chat room, 15 watching. Let me know in the chat room. There you go, because we about to thinking classes. Elevating 100%. Yes. All right. Thinking class, LDA John. I'm looking forward to the next segment tomorrow. Right. Come on. Nothing but straight facts. This, what we're talking about, is going to take your game on another level. Once you we haven't even talked, well, we haven't talked about if you connect with your spirit correctly. She can be in Arizona and you are in Miami and connect with her. Not via the internet, not via the phone, but spirit. We ain't talk about that, dude. That's I got stories. I got stories on that.
Don't give him too much now.
Huh?
Don't give him too much now.
Don't give him too much. I got stories on that.
All week to talk about.
Yeah, if I got stories on that. She can be in Arizona and you're in Miami. and y'all connect. Oh, I got real life stories. Say the other connection for tomorrow. You thought we were just talking on this plane? I got stories. She said, how did you know I felt you? Uh-oh. That's a Patreon drop. That's right. I might just share that on Patreon, that story. I was in Atlanta and she was in Jacksonville, Florida. That's all we're going to talk about. But I'll just tell you one thing. She said, John W. Friday drop. I was in Atlanta. She was in Jacksonville, Florida. And ooh-wee. That's all I'm going to say. We got to end on that, man. We got to go. Can't say no more about that. But yeah. Y'all thought we just talking about, we had to lay the foundation first. That's all. We have to lay the foundation. Because once you tap into really what we're talking about, that has to be on Patreon when I run that story. I can't share it to the masses. Because she might come out the woodwork like, that was me. He worked some hoodoo on me. I didn't work no hoodoo. But we are out of here. Lawrence D. Adams, Jono, the professor is gone. We out of here. We out of here.